Welcome everybody, another Brain Blast, and this one comes a little bit actually from my own family experience, and that is that my daughter, Jess Hill, if you're in Australia and reading any of the good press, you'll find her journalistic work is quite well known. And for quite some time, she's been doing, amongst her many activities, she's been doing quite a detailed bit of work into domestic violence. She's been looking at the ways, as a journalist, these aspects, and she's actually won quite a number of awards for the excellence in her work. And she's now writing a book about it, and she was talking to me the other day and she said, you know, Dad, I don't want to write a book about domestic violence because that's just a series of events and that's terrible, and I've written a lot about that. But what's it all about? Where's it all come from? So I want to talk about power. I want to talk about the need and the drive for power. So that's wonderful. So that's where she's going. And that's where she's going with it. And then I had an experience the other day in a train. I was just sitting in a train, I know, going somewhere or another. And there were some school kids. It must have been, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A bunch of school kids, I suppose 15, 16, so fairly big, attuned kids. 3 or 4 boys and 1 girl, and they were very friendly and chatting away, and it was kind of robust and about discussing. But one guy certainly was a little bit more, I don't know, you might call it aggro, a little bit agitated, a little bit sort of etchy, I suppose. They were all very nice. But at one stage, the girl knelt down to get something in her suitcase, and the boy, all in fun, all in sort of good jest, I suppose, leant forward and mocked, kneeing her in the head, to which she got quite a shock. And then that was ho 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 ho, and she got up and was saying, "Oh, don't do that." He said, "Oh, nothing was going to happen." She said, "Well, it might have. The train might have lurched. I might have moved my position. It could have been a nasty accident there." Anyway, he was going, "Oh, don't be silly, don't be silly." And I thought, no, this is what it's all about. This is where it changes. This is where it starts. And I need to say something. So I just said quietly, I said, "No, it's actually not the act that's the problem." And they all stopped. The girl looked at me. And I said, "It's not that he did the act of kneeing you, which could have gone bad. It's that he thought of it. That it entered his head to take that kind of dominance, that express that sort of power over somebody else. Even though he was only doing it in fun, he wasn't really. In his mind, there was a part of him saying, let's just make sure everyone knows where their place is. Let's just make sure everyone knows I'm the tough guy. I'm the big butch guy." And I'm sure he didn't have any of these sort of nefarious thoughts or derogatory thoughts in his mind, but that's where they come from. And this is where my winner-loser world idea has emerged from. And I don't know whether any of you have seen some of the stuff or read the book. I hope you have. And I've talked about it a bit before, where I used to see people on cruise ships and they would have fun and have a great time and relax over a period of time. Then as they left, they'd say, "Oh, well, we better get back to the real world." And I used to think, well, gosh, what's the real world? And eventually my book, How the Real World is Driving Us Crazy. And it has very broad-ranging applications, though, the winner-loser world. Because the winner-loser world shifts you into an external frame of dominance. So for you to have power, you need to have that to be an external influence, because you need to have power over somebody. If you just have power in yourself, you have the power of your own breathing, the power of your own thoughts, the power of your own activities, well, that's fine. That's just an energetic, dynamic, internal cycle. But if you have your ideas and your thoughts and you want to have power, them to be powerful ideas and thoughts, meaning they dominate other people, then that's a powerful thing that you're doing. And you're then imposing power. And you're making the outside world fit your needs and wants and hoping that other people will comply with that. And that's what the winner-loser world theory is all about, is that we build up these sort of unwritten, sort of just stereotype ideas that there's some people with power and some people without power, and that those people without power strive for it and those people with power struggle to keep it. And it becomes all this externalized. So consequently, we're now doing a lot of mindfulness, we're now doing a lot of inner meditations, we're now doing a lot of shifting our religious attitudes and things. There's a lot going on trying to compensate for that. But nobody's described the elephant in the room in much depth as I have. So I just wanted to run through looking at that sense of power and that sense of so why did he think of it? And it's easily captured, there's a lot more in the book of course, but just in what I call the 8 differences. And the 8 differences are the differences between the mindset of the externally driven, either power dominant or power affected or disempowered person, and how that changes the way the brain works. As different from what I used to call the creative, but now I know is the curious, the interested, just the self-motivated person who leans into the future and has all these positive engagements and searching for possibility. So I'll just do one and then the other, and we'll just look through these 8 differences. And it's not that you can have a couple from here and a couple from there. What tends to happen is your brain goes entirely into the 8 win-or-lose-a-world differences, or it goes entirely into the creative, curiosity-based, more socially engaged elements of brain processing. You don't sort of have the best of both worlds. They're separate worlds. And in the win-or-lose-a world, it's based on exclusion. I mean, the idea is to win. So in order to win, you can't be connected with everybody else. You can't be involved with everybody else. You've got to, you might pretend to, but you just keep them a little bit behind you so that you cross the finishing line first. So obviously in the creative, curious, socially engaged world, well, it's about inclusion. It's about bringing people in, because that increases you by having their additional strengths and their additional capacities. In the win-or-lose-a world, it's about events. Things that happen are very important. What happens matters. In the creative, curious, socially engaged world, everything is lessons. Everything is opportunities, really. Everything to go on to do something else. The third one, in the win-or-lose-a world, it's instruction. Suddenly, everything that someone says, anything that's told to you is instruction. And in order for you to be instructed, that if someone's telling you something, then they think they're better than you, and they're trying to tell you what to do, and so you sit there saying, well, I'm not doing that. And immediately there's this aggravation and this win-or-lose aspect. Of course, in the creative, curious, socially engaged world, everything that comes is just information. So, oh wow, that's really interesting. And remember the three essential actions. That's interesting. I wonder what that's really all about, and what can I create out of this? So where the winner-loser is just sort of, oh, I didn't win, or that was a bad event, or they did the wrong thing by me, or they're getting stuck in that, the curious person is expanding and opening up because of it. Fourth one is competition. Now I did think about this for a while, because competition is good. I mean, certainly it is good to have that variation and that sense of what else can be done, that push to lift yourself further to get the sense of things. But not competition at the measure of your value as a person. Not where competition says you're good enough. Not where competition says you're worth listening to or worth being a friend to. That type of competition, that winner takes all, loser gets bagged, and these terrible things we've created, the loser, and these terrible expressions about winning and losing. And of course, what's the other side? Inspiration. Wow, they did better than me. Fantastic. Now, if I can see what they did, and I'm going to try and, oh, yeah. Okay, inspiration. That's terrific. And we do this all the time. We bring the role models, we bring them out, the sportsmen, the achievers, the ones who are survivors. We're looking for inspiration, but some people are sitting there and saying, so what's so good about them then? So what, they're winners, then I'm not a winner. No, inspiration. Otherwise they become competitive. Then we get the result. We're stuck on results, just like we're stuck on events, we're stuck on results. Look, I did this, yes, or I did this, ooh. Whereas in the creative, curious, socially engaged world, it's just an outcome. It's just these things led to this, which then becomes a springboard to go to somewhere else. Now, one of the worst things that we have in business is some of these KPIs. Now, sure, it puts a lot of people under stress, but you hit your KPI early. If you've got a KPI for Friday and you hit your KPI by Wednesday, what do? Well, go play golf. And I actually have a friend who rang his company and said, I finished everything by Wednesday, what'll I do? And they did. They said, go play golf. Because our KPIs are the rules. So results are the rules. Whereas he was going, but what else can I do? I've got an outcome, now where can I go? Then we have, so that's exclusion, events, the sixth one, probability. In the win or lose world, it's probability. So you're working out the most likely way in which you can win, or the most likely way you can lose the least, or make somebody else lose, which is even better. Whereas in the curious, creative, socially engaged world, it's about possibility. Oh, this means I could do that, and maybe then I could go there, and this opens up that doorway, and this opens up that one. Whereas probability closes a whole bunch of doors. No, not worth going there, not worth going there, that's not going to get me any good. Whereas actually, it's not what's directly in front of you or what is the most obvious door. Very often life emerges best out of the peripheral, the unexpected, the possible. Then, seventh one, transaction in the win or loser world. And transaction, not like when you're playing cards and you're playing your cards as best you can to win the hand because you want to win. So you're trying to make the other person play their cards before you play yours. And the ideal thing in the win or loser world is that if you make the other guy think he's won, but you know you have, and it's vice versa. But in the creative, curious, socially engaged world, it's not you put all your cards on the table. It's interaction. Wow, I love having you here. Let's get it all together. Let's just be wonderful together. So that interaction. Finally, the eighth difference that I've got, there are plenty of others, but these are the 8 ones that I think really stand out, is in the win or loser world, arrogance. I have to actually make people believe I'm better. I force them to believe I'm better, whether I'm better or not. And I just behave arrogantly, and that gives that impression that I'm better. And arrogance can actually make people shy away because they think, oh, he's a winner, and if he's a winner, I must be a loser. And this is the terrible thing that happens in the win or loser world. It's either or, black and white. You can see how it goes into the greater depths. Now, in the curious, creative, socially engaged world, it's confidence. I know what I am about. I know what I can do. Self-assurance, self-esteem, all those things. But it's confidence is basically what it's all about. We have to get it back. We lose our self-esteem and our self-confidence because of the win or loser world, and we have to then get it back, and it's such a struggle. But it's, what are you? What are you about? And this is what Albert Bandura did with psychotherapy, and say you need to do self-efficacy. You need to give them tasks that are doable and can get done, so that you can create a situation where people start to get that sense of confidence back again. And a lot of therapy is about building up confidence. This is what you do with people who are obsessive. This is what you do with people who have phobias. This is what you do with people who are fearful of the world. Build back their confidence. And there's 100 ways of doing it. But if you're in the curiosity, if you use the curiosity approach to get yourself into that frame of mind, then you're at least going to have inclusion and lessons and information and inspiration and outcome and possibility and interaction and confidence. Because if you're trying to get somebody to get into cure and resolve and improvement when they're in a winner-loser frame mind of exclusion and stuck in events and instruction and competition and ruled by results and only probability and transacting and arrogant, then that's going to be really difficult. And that's where the curiosity approach is all about. And now understanding that the neuroscience actually changes the brain into this curious, creative, socially engaged state that is forward-moving, leans into the future, is rewarded, feels good, calms down, and is open to the possibilities. One of the things in the win-or-loser world is we are closed off to the possibilities because we can only do those things that are going to win. Whereas in the creative world, let's just see what happens, with the confidence that you will be able to manage, to find more possibilities, interact with others to strengthen you as needs be, to create the outcomes that you can spring off to take the inspiration from other people's successes, to give you the information that you can, and the lessons that you've learned, to create an inclusive sense of being. It's different from an exclusive sense of winning. There's a quick rundown of the win-or-loser world, and in relation to violence, that simple thing of domestic violence and power. Now, it's not the only thing about domestic violence, there's a lot more to it, but that's the elephant in the room. If people are in that win-or-loser world frame of mind, they're far more prone to want to express power than in the creative, engaged frame of mind. And unfortunately, the win-or-loser world has been really institutionalized into our culture, where you get advantage when you win and you get disadvantage when you lose. And so a lot of people are very dissatisfied, very frustrated, and very angry, and very prone towards violent power-mongering over other people. So hopefully that gives you a bit of understanding. As you can imagine, there's a mile more I could say about this, but that's enough for now. Have a little think about that. Seek to be in that other mindset, that curious mindset, that socially engaged, possible mindset, and seek to not be in that win-or-loser mindset. And gee, how often does that get you? Because we live in quite a big win-or-loser world. Thanks for now. See you later. Bye-bye.